There are two cats whose eyes will stop you in your tracks. Not because they're unusually beautiful, though they are, but because something about them makes you feel like you're being truly seen. And once you know their story, you'll understand why. Charlie and Joey are brother and sister. They came into the world together in a mobile home sales park, part of a litter of 5, and from the very beginning, they were different. Not in a way that made life easy, but in a way that made life complicated, expensive, and occasionally involving eye drops 3 times a day. But also in a way that made them utterly, completely unforgettable. Their human mom is Renee Bell, and the moment she laid eyes on this scrappy little litter of kittens, she knew some of them were going home with her. The whole group found their people. Renee kept 2, a friend kept 2, and a third friend took the 5th. It was a perfectly tidy, happy ending, except it was really just the beginning. Both Charlie and Joey were born with eyelid agenesis, a rare condition where the eyelids don't properly form. Without that third eyelid, there's nothing to keep dust and dirt from the eye's surface, nothing to protect what's underneath. For Charlie and Joey, this meant their eyes were vulnerable from day one, and without intervention, the damage would only get worse over time. Joey, the smallest of the 5 and the only girl in the litter, had it particularly hard. Her left eye never developed at all. The surgeon couldn't say for certain whether that happened before she was born or very early in her tiny life. What was clear was that this little girl had come into the world fighting, and she had absolutely no intention of stopping. Renee found herself doing what cat parents of medically complex animals do. She became part caregiver, part nurse, part research obsessive. For the first year of Charlie's life alone, the vet recommended eye drops 3 times a day. Renee jokes that it felt like having a small child again, because the antibiotics and the routine and the sheer persistence required were exactly the same. The real turning point came when Renee tracked down a surgeon at the Animal Eye Institute in Charleston. What this specialist offered was something called switch flap surgery. It's a precise and delicate procedure where part of the lower eyelid is taken and pulled up to attach to the outer corner of the upper lid. The result is a functioning eyelid where there wasn't one before. It doesn't restore normal vision. That was never the goal. The goal was to give Charlie's eyes a fighting chance at staying healthy, and it worked. Both Charlie and Joey have each had 2 of these surgeries. Joey has also had her left eye removed and has undergone an additional procedure to correct a condition called entropyon, where the eyelid turns inward. She has been through more surgeries than most cats experience in a lifetime, and she remains, by all accounts, completely unimpressed by the drama of it all. She is always polite, always ladylike. She wears her flower collars without complaint and seems to consider this entirely appropriate. Renee calls her the Bridgerton girl.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Joey. Hi, girl. Hi. Hi.
One might expect her to like the camera, but this lady isn't into posing. She cuddles around your neck like a living scarf, sleeps pressed close, and greets affection as though it is simply her due.
Are you sweet? Are you a sweet girl? Are you sweet? So I want my mom to pick me up.
Charlie, meanwhile, is a creature unto himself.
Hey, Charlie. Everyone thinks you're handsome. Just the way you are.
People who meet him often say they feel like he has lived before. There's something about the way he looks at you that makes people reach for words like intuitive and in tune. He looks like he can read people. He wants to be where the humans are, in the thick of things, present and accounted for. When Renee comes home, he runs to the door like a dog. He is, in the most generous sense of the phrase, a companion cat.
Hi, Charlie. Hi. Good morning. Are you Captain Charlie? Are you Captain Charlie? Yeah.
He is also the kind of cat that converts non-cat people. Visitors who arrive announcing they don't like cats tend to leave with slightly revised opinions because Charlie is hard to resist. Some people look at him and are convinced they recognize a human being they know. He has that quality, something behind his eyes that reads as deeply, specifically personal. What he does not do, it should be noted, is share his food with his sister. In this one area, Charlie's warmth has its limits. He is a very sweet brother, Renee says, except for that, which feels honest and correct and very cat, because for all his almost mystical reputation, Charlie is also just a cat who loves his sister. He grooms her when they're lying together. He wraps a paw around her in a way that can only be described as a hug. They sleep together every night at the end of the bed, or sometimes between Renee and her partner, tucked in like they belong there, which they do. Charlie and Joey may not have fully working eyesight, but they have each other and a loving family to care for them.
Well, hello. Are you guys working? Are you working?
Charlie has been on eye drops to reduce corneal scarring, and at a recent vet visit, Renee could see glimpses of the clear blue eyes he had as a kitten coming back through. And Joey's eye was so clear at her last checkup that the vet could see straight through to the retina. She has graduated to eye drops just once a day. It's progress, hard-won and ongoing. Charlie and Joey started their story abandoned in a parking lot, born with eyes that didn't work the way they were supposed to. They have had surgeries and infections and more vet visits than anyone would wish for. But through it all, they have each other, a brother who hugs his sister in his sleep, and a sister who wears her flower collar like a crown. Their eyes have been through a lot. But when they look at you, you don't see any of that. You just see two cats who are, against considerable odds, completely at home in the world.
Hey, sister. I love you. Hi. I love you. Did you see Charlie? Is Charlie twitching? Joe. Just